Hi folks, Florida Man here. Today I'm giving you my comments on a game I played on the classic map on PlayDiplomacy.com. The game was called Live and Let Die. I played as Austria, and this was actually my second ever game as Austria, so I was still sort of honing my Austrian strategy here. We will see how well I do with that. As you might imagine, since it was one of my earliest games, I have reconstructed it via Backstabber's sandbox function. It was a fairly fast-paced game, with turns processing every 12 hours. At the beginning of the game, I had early positive interactions with all of my neighbors, friendly chit-chat with Germany, Italy and I promising permanent mutual friendship, and I successfully persuaded Turkey and Russia to attack each other. As you will see with orders processing, they both open in almost the most hostile ways toward each other that they can, with Russia also opening against Germany. Russia occupied Romania with his fleet, while Turkey opened to the Black Sea and Armenia. My opening is very boring and non-committal, which is arguably a great blessing of being Austria. You have some pretty well-set opening options, a few of which allow you to avoid antagonizing anyone while defending yourself and giving yourself good opportunities for the fall, although the fate of Austria is also heavily dependent on not being attacked by all your neighbors. In this case, where I had both Russia and Turkey wrapped around my little finger in 1901, I had all the options in the world. Italy had moved to Tyrolia, but had not moved to Venice, and he claimed he was attacking someone else, not me. I chose to believe Italy because I had no real reason to assume bad intentions, and because, with Russia opening to Silesia, I had some actual supporting evidence for the idea that Italy and Russia were going to attack Germany. To the west, France and Amard, Germany made an ambitious opening, going to Kiel, Denmark, and Ruhr, and England moved to North Sea and Norwegian Sea, and attempted unsuccessfully to move Liverpool to London. In the fall, England and Germany made some fairly clearly anti-Russian moves. Germany bounced Russia and Sweden, while England moved into Norway and Skagerrak. Germany acquired Holland at the same time. France entered orders in the fall, so he acquired Spain and occupied Mid-Atlantic Ocean and Burgundy. This season demonstrates how little harm it can be to France, sometimes, to fail to enter orders in spring 1901. The only real negative consequence for the French is that the Italians, who were already being arguably too aggressive generally, decided it would be a good idea to move into Piedmont this season. I'm sure he probably immediately regretted the choice, since France began moving. To the south, Italy took Tunis, as usual, but in the middle of the map he also successfully took Munich, with Russian support. My decision to trust Italy's intentions paid off. Most importantly for me, Turkey and I had a good season against Russia. I had chosen to take the Turkish side over the Russian one for a few reasons. One was that I think of Russia as a more formidable country than Turkey generally. Another is that Russia made the decision to attack Germany in 1901, suggesting he didn't really think the fight in the south was urgent business. And a third reason was that the Turks were prepared to carry a lot of the burden for me. Much better positioned for a fight than Russia was, really. With Turkey on my side, this looked likely to be a quick war, and it's always better to back a winning horse. Turkey took Sevastopol and I took Romania at the same time. A flawless victory. The results of the 1901 moves is that England, France, and Germany get 1 build each, Italy, Turkey, and I each got 2, and Russia had no builds because he was actually down a center at the end of the year. In the build phase, I got 2 new armies, Turkey got 1 army and 1 fleet, Italy got 2 fleets, France and Germany got an army each, showing France was likely to try and attack Germany, while Germany was hoping to retake Munich, and England got a new fleet, presumably to continue going after Russia. My and Italy's builds were based on our understanding of mutual friendship, and the fact that he actually chose to build only fleets was a triumph for me, since it meant he would have trouble attacking me, but would be well equipped to attack Turkey or France. In spring 1902, Turkey and I embarked upon a brutal campaign to defeat those Russians. Our first step was to drive them out of Ukraine and surround them with units in Bohemia and Galicia. Remarkably, Russia was still not 100% focused on our war against him. He used Silesia to support Italy from Munich into Berlin, instead of trying to bounce me in Galicia or Bohemia. I also moved my fleet into Greece by mutual agreement with Turkey, as payback for helping him take Sevastopol and supporting him to Ukraine. The Italian player was in trouble, with Turkey's new fleet moving out toward him, and France's units trying to attack from the west. Fortunately for Italy, though, he was able to block any French advance for now, and he took Ionian Sea to defend himself against me and Turkey from the east. France and Germany bounced in Munich, instead of supporting Berlin to Munich, which meant Italy successfully landed in Berlin of all places. In the north, England was avoiding any fighting with France or Germany for now, but he also seized Sweden, which Germany seemed to want. Russia, apparently recognizing he wasn't getting Sweden, moved his fleet forward into Baltic Sea, setting him up for a possible attack on the German homeland. In the retreat phase, Germany slipped Berlin back into Kiel, which was a good defensive move, especially since retreating into Prussia wouldn't have given Germany a chance to take Warsaw anyway, with Turkey and I moving so aggressively against the Russians. In fall, you can see the matters involving Germany are sort of a crazy mess. England tries to join in on attacking Germany with a convoy into Denmark, but Germany withstands this attack, because Russia helps support Denmark in place with that Baltic fleet. At the same time, France supports Germany back into Munich, Italy holds on to Berlin for now and enters support for Russia moving into Munich, but Russia doesn't take it because Russia's just trying to defend his home centers with his land units right now. So Russia moves Silesia to Warsaw and Moscow to St. Petersburg. To the south, this means I took Silesia and Turkey took Moscow without a fight, although we were both well armed enough to win the fight anyway. Turkey also moves his Black Sea fleet to Constantinople, which is a very good thing, because this was the moment when Italy decided to take the fight to him. Italy moved Ionian to East Mediterranean, Tyrrhenian Sea to Ionian, and Tunis to West Mediterranean, a thrust in both directions designed to keep his opponents off balance and help him expand. I was somewhat impressed by how Italy was fighting so far, though we hadn't been on the same page exactly as of yet. In the build phase, England, France, and Turkey got fleets, while I acquired an army and Russia destroyed his northern fleet. Looking at this map, Russia looks pretty clearly doomed, right? Italy looks like he just picked fights with the wrong people and could potentially be attacked by me, Turkey, and France, and Germany looks poised for at least some level of recovery in the middle, since Italy will be kicked out of Berlin unless something changes, and France looks more prepared to fight Italy and England than to fight Germany right now. Spring 1903 is when the direction of events in the east begins to change. Instead of joining the Turkish attack on Italy, I take this opportunity to stab Turkey, since Russia is just about dead. I force my way into Warsaw, and I also force my way into Bulgaria and put an army in Ukraine. In the west, France supports Brest into the mid-Atlantic Ocean, so you can tell he's actually going to be fighting Italy as expected. Italy moves into Gulf of Lion, positioning for an attack on Marseille that looks unlikely to succeed. Italy also loses Berlin to Germany, as I predicted, though I think that's a lot less important for Italy's future than what's happening in the south. Unfortunately for Germany, his recovery isn't as solid as I might have expected. France supports England into Belgium, so it's clear where the battle lines are drawn. England simultaneously forces his way into Denmark, so Germany is reduced to his home centers plus Holland, which is not quite an upgrade from where Germany was before. In the retreat phase, Italy destroys his Berlin army, Germany retreats from Belgium into Holland, and Turkey turtles up by retreating into Constantinople and Smyrna. Turkey isn't going to make this easy for me in Italy, although frankly, I don't know that I would want him to just let us roll over him. I like a good fight. In fall, Turkey holds his ground against Italy but loses another center to me, Sevastopol. This reduces him to home centers plus Moscow, with the Moscow unit surrounded by Austrian armies. Against France, Italy is on the defensive. France is taking his time to get well set up for the advance into Italy, convoying to North Africa, and keeping everything else in place for now. In the northern part of the map, Germany, England, and Russia make moves that basically result in no movement, with England's convoy to Norway bouncing with Russia's St. Pete unit, and Germany just supporting himself in place. In the build phase, I acquire 3 new armies, while Turkey destroyed his Livonia army, and England built an army into fleet. Going to spring 1904, I think this is where I probably make my first real mistake in this game. While I move most of what I have in the east against Turkey's unit in Moscow, I don't move my units in Trieste and Vienna at all, and none of what I try this season really works. What I should have done was moved my armies up to Bohemia and Tyrolia and moved Galicia to Silesia. If I had done that, I would have a guarantee of success in an attack on Germany. Germany is still fully focused on defense against England, which moves him away from me, and I could have anticipated his defense of his homeland would not improve with this year. England is likewise focused on Germany, while France and Italy spar in the south, and Italy continues to go after Turkey in the east. My own moves in the east don't succeed against Turkey, and for that reason, I feel a certain amount of internal pressure to go after Italy in order to keep my pace of expansion going. That's why in the fall I sneak into Venice and Tyrolia. At the same time that I'm attacking Turkey and supporting Italy against Turkey and successfully capturing Moscow from the Turk, I stab Italy. A simple set of calculations tells me I'm very likely to win against the two of them even with their forces combined. However, it's clearly a mistake to go after Italy right now. France is still invading the Mediterranean, and Italy was my meat shield against him. Plus, Germany would have been easier to kill, and now that I've betrayed Italy, I have no allies. Turkey isn't going to die anytime soon, unless I can crack the Turkish homeland defense without any help, and I have exactly one fleet. So there are a lot of reasons why I'm making a strategic blunder here. My chronic backstabbing disorder is really undermining the rather incredible strengths of my position. In the retreat phase, Turkey chooses not to keep the unit in Moscow, which is good for me. The build phase goes pretty well for me too. Turkey destroys his Black Sea fleet, which was the only fleet that could easily attack me directly. Italy destroys his Piedmont army, France builds a Brest fleet, and England builds a new army. In spring 1905, England is putting more boots on the European mainland, taking Kiel from Berlin. Germany moves east rather than trying to really defend his homeland, which is worrying. France pushed more fleets into the Mediterranean, which is much more of a threat. Italy is fighting me rather than worrying about France, vacating Constantinople, moving to the Ionian Sea, and bouncing my attempt to take Rome. Turkey bounces my efforts to move into Constantinople and Armenia. So at this point, I think there might be a problem on this map. I have now alienated my only ally, as well as brutally weakening him, without having actually finished off my previous enemy, Turkey. The bottom line here, and what you will notice going forward, is that I am under attack by virtually every power on the map. I'm such a big, juicy target, and I've made so many enemies, that it's easy for the other players to have a consensus to go after Austria. I made my ambition to reach the solo too obvious, too soon, and I was too treacherous too quickly for my own good. In fall, Turkey retakes Constantinople with support, Italy continues to fight me ineffectively, and France convoys onto Italy. England puts yet another army on the European mainland, and the noose is beginning to tighten. In the build phase, England and Turkey build armies that can really mainly be useful against me, while I get a fleet, but it's clearly not going to be enough to improve my position against France, because his fleets are already in a good position in the Mediterranean, while mine are basically at port. In spring 1906, I take Naples and St. Pete from Italy and Russia, who were both next to dead anyway, but it's definitely a last hurrah sort of move for me. I'm forced to pull out of Armenia to retake Warsaw from the Germans, who walked right in, as I could sort of see he would in spring. I'm also forced to pull back from Piedmont to defend Venice. Everything I do from here on out will basically boil down to putting out fires. In fall, I retake Warsaw and hold Venice and Naples, but I lose Ionian, and the English support Russia back into St. Petersburg. Turkey also takes the Black Sea, setting him up for more aggression against me next year. You can probably already tell where this is going to some degree. I am not successful in winning Turkey, France, or England over to my side. The Anglo-French alliance is very tight, and considering how successful they've been together, I can understand why they'd be so loyal to each other. Turkey still remembers and resents my earlier betrayal, and he takes his revenge. As the seasons keep processing, we'll see literally everyone continue to be against me, and I shrink more and more, while Turkey expands into my former territories. England and France do the same, and Russia remains stubbornly, persistently alive, with Turkish support. By the end of 1909, I've been erased from the map, while Turkey and Russia remain alive, with the game ending in a draw between the 4 surviving players. It was a dramatic reversal from what had seemed likely to be a world conquest for the Austrian Empire, and Turkey even managed to get England and France fighting each other by the end, which is probably the main reason Turkey survived this. It was a remarkable recovery for him, coming back from two centers to a finish with 7 by the end. Of course, it would not have been possible if not for my unforced errors. The way the game ends shows the importance of loyalty in diplomacy. You need to remain loyal to people until you actually don't need them anymore, not just until it seems short-term profitable to betray them. I hope you enjoyed this diplomacy commentary, and if you did, you should show you like it by pushing the like button, the subscribe button, and the comment button. Write down a comment about the game, or a reply to someone else, or a statement of your eternal devotion to diplomacy. And please, give a quiet round of applause to our comrades in the credits here, the Patreon supporters and subtitle translators who are helping us boost the channel to new heights. Feel free to join them if you feel like you're getting a lot of value from this channel. Until next time, Florida Man, out.